like 120 crab cakes and 70, 80 different breads to make and 50, 60 pans of chicken cutlets, tortellini, and shrimp with crab scampi and lasagnas and meatballs and the whole gamut. So this week, in addition to this, we have a luncheon on Wednesday for 60 people in Building 2, which is going to be a beautiful buffet sit down. We're going to be involved with that. And then Wednesday evening, we have our Board of Education dinner. I want to talk to some of you more about that, try to get a couple volunteers that want to work for the dinner. So this is, and Brendan, Kobe, and Tyler can attest, they've made these crab cakes before. We've served them before. They're simple, but they're good. And in my opinion, in watching recipes from all over, watching TV, and watching this chef make this or this chef make that, recipes are kind of getting to the point now where they're kind of getting like overdone. And when I say overdone, I mean just way too many ingredients, simple things. If you're making a crab cake, like I told you guys before, if you're making a beautiful steak or crab cake, you want that to be the star of the dish. When I taste the crab cake, I want to see the lumps of crab cake. I want to taste the crab. I want to taste the crab enhanced to the point, but the crab is definitely the star of the show. Okay, that's why I say, like, when you make a sauce, you make a beautiful steak. That sauce shouldn't overpower that steak to the point where the steak is not the star of the show and the sauce. So we're going to do a basic, simple crab cake that we're going to do in the restaurant or for catering. People really like these crab cakes. They're very, very simple. So what you really need to do is start off with a quality.
So first off, can you tell our listeners who you are?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Chef Barry Galasso. Work at Camden County Technical Schools. It's my 28th school year here in the district, teaching culinary arts.
Okay. And so you're making crab cakes
Yes,
in preparation.
correct.
Okay.
So in preparation for, just to give you a little bit of background, what we do is that we offer this menu to our staff members, to their family members, and what they do is they take them home and then they order food from us. So this week on Friday, everybody will be picking up their whatever they order. This is the start of that. Today. Today is more of a mise en place, kind of getting everything together, organized, putting food order away that just came in, and getting ourselves set up, writing prep lists, giving students tasks so they know when they come in the next few days. This is what they're going to be doing. They may be working on crab cakes all week. They may be working on making dough and strombolis or breads, if you call them that, whatever you choose to call them. Pepperoni bread, spinach bread, salt and pepper bread, whatever that is. So today, like I said, is a basic mise en place day. The students who are here with me today are all level 3 and a couple level 4. So how that works out is level 3 are junior and level 4 are seniors. So we have 4 areas in which, well, 2 areas in which they travel to, either the main kitchen or Culinary Express, but 4 different levels. We have level 1, which are our freshmen, level 2, which are our sophomores, level 3 is our juniors, and level 4 is our seniors. So, like I said, the school is, obviously it's a vocational technical school. Students get a great education here, as well as, 3 periods a day of a career program, which they choose to participate in. Many of them have certificates that go along with them. We also offer a college option program that's available to seniors who qualify their senior year. They can actually spend a whole year at a county college and get full credit for it, and that's one less year they have to go to college. So it's a pretty cool thing, especially when you're just starting out, getting that 1 free year of college under your belt, getting a plan of what you want to do. And like I always tell my students, when they come in, they make a decision on what they want to do when they're 13 or 14 years old. Make a decision, I want to be a chef, or I want to be a carpenter, or I want to be a welder, or I want to be a plumber. It's very hard to know that. But cooking is one of them things where you have a life skill for the rest of your life. Whether you don't pursue, being a chef, there's still many avenues within this business that you can, or career cluster that you can thrive on. And then on top of that, even if it was just a life skill and you got a job doing something else, it's something that you always have behind you. Okay, so we're gonna get started with these crab cakes. So in front of me here today, I have some jumbo lump crab meat. Okay, I have some eggs, a basic breading station. I always do my basic breading station with salt, AP flour, pepper, garlic powder, and because we're doing crab cakes, just a little bit of Old Bay. Same thing in my panko breadcrumbs: salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a little bit of Old Bay, and then just some eggs. Okay. We have some mayonnaise. We have some fresh garlic, some salt and pepper, some lemon juice, some Worcestershire, and some Old Bay, and a little bit of Grey Poupon. The Grey Poupon really brings out that flavor in the crab. It just really, really hits. And the Worcestershire and the Grey Poupon together with the mayonnaise form a really, really nice base. And then depending upon the mixture, sometimes it's crab meat. It goes in a can, we drain it, but sometimes it's wetter than others. So sometimes I have to add a little bit of breadcrumb into the mixture. I really don't like to do that. I'd rather be on crab meat. And then when I go ahead and put it into the breading stations, flour, egg, and breadcrumb, that's where it'll solidify and be able to form that cake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this crab meat. I'm going to take it all. Some right here for now. It's a lot. And I would say this is probably 1 pound of crab meat that's going into the bowl. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of salt and pepper, just a little bit of salt. Again, I was telling my class, and I don't know if the listeners heard it, but I found recently, just by watching a lot of videos and a lot of shows that take place, recipes getting crazy. Like so many different ingredients. Like you look up a recipe online now, and it's got 18, 19, 20 things. Like what happened to simple food? Let the basic food, let crab meat, let the steak, let whatever you're doing be the star of whatever you're doing, and not overpower it with all these different things. Simple sometimes is better. Sometimes we overthink things when we cook, and it gets a little sideways. A little bit of fresh garlic minced. Okay. A little bit of lemon juice. Some Worcestershire sauce.
And I love that when you're a professional chef and like you've gotten used to also cooking at home in the kitchen, you kind of tend to not measure.
Yeah, well, I do. I mean, it's good and it's not. Like I tell the students all the time, like I think they're getting to the point now where like when we make stuff, I don't see them so much with this. If I give them a specific recipe, then yes, but I want them to kind of freelance and kind of, and the most important thing for them to do is to taste their food. A lot of them will come up and they'll present, like we did a dish the other day, and I'm like, wow, I'll be honest, I didn't try it. Well, if you didn't try it, then how do we know what adjustments have to be made? So it's very important that you try that. But yeah, I think it's important too that you kind of freelance a little bit and do what you want. And a little Grey Poupon. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of mayo. And I always tell them also, it's easy to, you can always add to, but you can't take from. So you can always put stuff in a bowl and mix something or do something or try something. Like when you're making meatballs, for example, take a little piece, smash it down, fry it off, try it, see what that seasoning tastes like. Then if you need to adjust, you don't have to make everything at once. That's why, like with the crab cakes, it's nice to make like a small batch, make a crab ball or something like this. Something that's going to be small, something you can make, something you can eat. Try it. Say, you know what? No, it needs a little bit of this or it needs a little bit of that. You can always adjust. So I'm just going to go ahead. It's very important too that I found is that I like to mix. When you mix things, don't over mix, especially like when you're making meatballs or even when you're making crab cakes, because things tend to break apart. When you do something like meatballs or something like that, you don't want to overdo it because it becomes hard. Okay, it becomes almost like mechanical, like it was done through a machine, and that's not what we're going for. So, going ahead and mixing that. See, I give that a good mix, but I'm not like, I'm kind of just folding with my hands. Okay, I'm really not. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take the scoop here. And after I go ahead and do this, when it's all said and done, this will be about a 4-ounce crab cake. A little bit of flour. And it's always important, I always mess it up, one hand dry, one hand wet when you're doing a printing station. I always say it, I start off good, and then all of a sudden I got clumps everywhere, so I end up changing my gloves a million times. I try to adhere to that, though. I'm gonna do it today. The stand with my dry, the stand with my wet. Put it in there, and then don't be afraid. Like I tell them all the time, when you do the panko breadcrumbs, put them on there. Now, this one here is, like I said, it's very fresh. Okay, and sometimes when you do something that's very fresh, sometimes I would flash these in a fryer, or I'm sorry, flash these in the freezer first for a few minutes, and then I would fry them up.
To firm it up.
Yeah, just to firm it up a little bit. But sometimes, so I have it there. I'm going to go twice in there now. So I'm going to hit these twice. Now I got them to the consistency that I want them to. Okay, a little bit in the egg, and more in here. What's funny?
I think you already double dipped with your hands.
Listen, when you're passionate about something, you just go for it. Like, you just never make a mistake. It's tough work here. Being a movie star, I already told you guys, it's difficult for me to get out of the house every day, like paparazzi and all the different stuff. With being me, and then when you guys criticize me, my loyal fans and friends, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna make one more. I don't want to hear anything about my gloves, okay?
I want to, for our listeners at home that
Yeah.
watching the video, that you're using a scoop to like pre-measure and that everything's
Yeah, so everything's consistent. So I had one year where I had some students make them, and I'd be honest with you, I got busy and I got sideways and I wasn't watching. And I like calling me up like Christmas Eve on my phone. They were like, Barry, Galasso. Some of the crab cakes are huge, and some of them, and then I went and I saw the batch I had. I'm like, so whatever happened, it got sideways and people weren't doing it. So yeah, very important because people are very finicky about this. Now, I only charge, how much do I charge for these? Where are they at? They are $5 a piece, right? So I mean, you're getting a really nice crab cake for that amount of money, and people still complain. But it is what it is. The customer is always right.
And honestly, you can't get crab cakes at a restaurant at that price point. So
No. I mean, I don't know. All the food that we do, I mean, like I said, everything is homemade. All of our sauces, our soups, and we don't skimp on anything. We give people really nice portions. Time in there. And then we're going to fry these bad boys. Hopefully they'll stay together.
if not, it's real.
If they don't, it's real life, it's like, hey, well, it is what it is. But I'm going to take these crab cakes and fry them, and then we're going to plate them, and then we could talk about whatever everybody wants to talk about. Students have any questions or whatever, but like I said, this is going to be a week for us, and it's good. You can't duplicate this kind of experience. Like when I went to the Philadelphia restaurant school, and that's where I went for culinary arts. Like we did stuff like this, but we had like 8-hour classes every day. So yeah, you were there all day long. And you have like 3 sections. You'd have like, I'd have like one section of like, we'd have English, we'd have math, and we'd have culinary. We'd have all different kinds of things. But we had a lot more opportunity to cook because we were there a lot longer. You guys are here until 10 o'clock. So you're about because you guys have homeroom here, you're here about 2 hours a day. So 2 hours a day, like I said, and these students are all level 3, and it becomes almost like a family. It's like we're together so much. So I'm going to take these over. I'm going to fry them, and then I'm going to. Do you want me to plate here? Or do you want me to plate over there?
You can plate.
If I was to take these crab cakes, hey guys. I'll take these crab cakes down, I'm gonna put them into the, a lot of times what people do is they put them in such a high temperature, that they burn them before they actually cook. These are going at about 325 degrees. Okay, and this they blend the oil. It's not a straight like vegetable or heated oil. Like those in each basket. Very delicately, I'm gonna drop them. Like I said, sometimes I get nervous when I do real fresh stuff, like because maybe put it in the freezer for 5 to 7 minutes to get it really firm. But I think we're gonna be okay. I'm very confident in this recipe. And like I said, it's a very basic recipe, but the results are in the taste. Everybody that always gets it says, yeah, there's a lot of crab cake places out there that say, oh, these are as good as this place or that place or whatever. I mean, I think they're very good. A lot of places don't go well, but I guarantee you, if you go to one of those stores this week and buy one, you're going to be paying $8, $9, $10 on a crab cake. And if you're having like I do a 7 fishes at my house, and I do crab cakes as part of it, and I have 20 people coming over for dinner, I need at least 20 crab cakes. So you do the math and say $200 just in crab cakes that I would need for my family, and then plus all the other stuff. So you're looking at least $1,000 or more just in food, and now with the inflation and the prices of food, good luck.
Yeah.
They are staying together. They are getting nice and golden brown.
Nice and
I usually leave them in anywhere 4 to 6 minutes. Okay. Excuse me. Now I can always, I feel like they may be a little cold. Usually can do everything by touch and feel. Just like I try to teach the kids like when they cook a burger or they cook a steak, how does it feel? What do you mean how does it feel? Or how does it, you touch it, what's it feel like, And I always give them this kind of thing. I said, if you make a fist and you blow up your hand and you touch the pad right in your hand here, and if you press on that, okay, you touch it, nothing, really no resistance, you're looking like a medium well. If you relax a little bit more, it's like a medium well, and then a medium rare, and then completely loose would be rare. So I always give them that kind of touch test.
Yeah.
Say, hey, how does that feel? Because when they get out in the real world, they're going to have to they're not going to be like 17,000 thermometers all over. It's just not going to happen. They're going to get fired. The chef's going to be yelling at them. They're going to be so frustrated they're going to leave. So they have to learn. I know this is a learning environment, but they have to start learning how to, see and conceptualize food and figure out if it's done by look and touch and feel, not always by, unless it's big pieces of meat, we're cooking them in the oven or we're making short ribs or we're making, steaks. Then obviously we want to use that pomper. If we're doing individual pieces of steak or pork or whatever, you have to start getting that feel and look.
Oh, I love hearing that sizzle.
Yes, it's a good sizzle. Good sign. So here's one out of the oven. Out of the fryer. Okay, got a nice golden brown color. Now, normally, if I was working, if we were doing it here, I would make them a little bit smaller, but because we're selling for $5, I think it's a pretty fair size of $5 a pound cake. And then, if I was doing them for our specials during the day, I'd make it a little bit smaller, then we could still them, and then we get perfect. Okay, so we'll go over on the plate.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to pause.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get ready to plate. I just wanted to make mention of one thing to the students. So these crab cakes that we're doing, I tried to cook these here, obviously, because we're going to plate them until they're fully done. We're going to do them a little bit lighter because what's happening is people are going to be taking these home and they're going to be reheating these. So we don't want to cook them full and then give them to people, put them in the oven at 325 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes to heat them up, and then they become overdone. So we want to, whenever we do catering or something like that, we just do it just under, okay, and then let them finish them. So again, crab cake completely done. On the plate, a little bit of fresh parsley. You can obviously, do it with whatever you would like. A little bit of cocktail sauce, and then a little bit of fresh lemon. And, again, when you go to plate, it could be simplistic, it could be something that is very, very fancy. I think, again, crab cakes are a star. Well, people love crab cakes. So if you're going to serve crab cakes, you're going to do crab cakes, make it the star. So a little bit of parsley, a little bit of spring mix, some cocktail sauce, some fresh lemon, maybe some other sauce. And who knows the other sauce that goes with? What's the other sauce? What? Tartar sauce, yes. So you could, sometimes you could serve a little bit of both. Sometimes the menu will ask. Sometimes the server will ask, "Would you like some cocktail or would you like some tartar sauce?" And then allow them. And I always tell people like, when what's one of my biggest pet peeves, and some of my family members do it. They sit down, and the first thing they do when the food goes on the table is grab the salt and pepper and start putting on. And I'm like, how do you know that it needs salt, or how do you know that it needs pepper? Oh, I just know. Well, try the food. Like I almost wish they didn't put it on the table at all, and that you had to ask. Because I think sometimes it, takes away from whatever the chef's doing.
All right, applause.
So, what we're going to do is in a few minutes when I'm done here, you guys are going to start getting you guys into groups. And
All right, I am here with Chef Barry. I'm not going to botch your last name. Galasso. And it's, fair point because I was, like my name's not exactly easy either, but
I didn't notice.
but we just watched your demo making the crab cakes with your students in the back. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what got you to this point where you're teaching?
Sure. So my name is Barry Galasso. I was a graduate of the Philadelphia Restaurant School. I originally went to college for business. I didn't love it. I started working for a caterer while I was in college, started loving it. And that's why I said, you know what, I'm going to leave the business world and pursue this culinary arts field. So I went to Philadelphia Restaurant School, and then I had always had education in my blood because my father and then was superintendent of schools, and I've had his brothers and sisters were all teachers and educators. So it was always in my background. So when I became a chef, I really never really thought, or I never really put the two together. And then an opportunity came up where they said, your son's a chef, we're looking for a culinary arts teacher. Do you think you'd be interested? And the first thing on my mind was because I never liked school growing up. I mean, it was okay. I tolerated it. I did what I had to do, but I wasn't like an all-star or wasn't, crazy about it. So I'm like, I'm not sure. I really like this thing. It's cool. And then I started thinking like, okay, well, what about when I'm 40? What about when I'm 50? What about when I'm, getting older? And, it's tough. I mean, a chef life is it's tough, especially if, you're working, 6, 7 days a week, working a lot of different restaurants and,
Case in point, the hustle and bustle.
yeah, it's hustle and bustle. Students dropping things. And I apologize to the listeners. This is like an active classroom, so it's probably like the first time that we've ever done something where it's completely live like this. But it is what it is. So getting back to what I was saying is that I decided to become a teacher, and then I did. And ladies and gentlemen, get them. We're not next year.
So it's live.
So it's live and it's happening, and students drop things and they yell, and there's 20 of them back there putting it a little way. So who doesn't want to do this? Who doesn't want to do that? So it's sort of like a real industry.
Yeah.
It's like so and so's whatever. Everybody's in the business gets it, knows it. It shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. So I decided to get into this teaching thing, and 20 years later, here I am. I love my job. I don't think of it as a job, really. I kind of just do it because I really love it. Like, I know I was talking to you yesterday in preparation for the show, and I was actually ready to come in. Like, when I leave on Friday, I don't think, oh, sometimes I'm tired, and sometimes I can lose the day, and sometimes it's like, but really, when you love what you do, and I do love what I do, coming here with these kids and have fun every day and make stuff like this and create with them. And a lot of them sometimes, like, my favorite class every year is when I get around Memorial Day, I'll get live crabs. Some of them have never seen live crabs before. And I'll get a bushel of them and I'll bump them into the prep sink back there and I'll be crawling all around and I'll shock them with ice and we'll cook them and we'll have like this big crab feast. I mean, stuff like that. Like, it's just, unless you work with young people in cooking and you open up their eyes and their minds, it's something that it's hard to describe. It's just, yeah, some days it's completely frustrating. Some days you think, the students got exactly what you're saying, and then you're like, oh boy, they didn't get it all what I was saying, and then, but it's okay. You go back, and I always say with this teaching thing, like we offer a lot of different programs here at the school, and when we're open for lunch, like there's no room for error.
Yeah.
Like by 10 o'clock, we're open, and we have to have soups and entrees and everything ready to go from 7:30, 8 o'clock. Now, yeah, we do mise en place the day before, and we got ourselves set up. But for the most part, everything's fresh and live and ready to go. If the carpentry teacher, they build birdhouses and the birdhouse falls apart, the kids take it apart and they put it back together, or they figure out what went wrong, but they're not having to serve it to anybody or give it to anybody. We're here, it's a real cool day out, and somebody was really looking forward to our charred tomato soup with grilled cheese croutons. And
it's not fresh.
And it's not ready or it's terrible. Option A is, okay, it's not that great. You can eat it if you like. We're never doing the regular work.
Yeah.
And then option B, you don't have soup for today.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be extremely late. So, I mean, there's avenues that, and that happens to us, but it happens everywhere. But you're working with, and like I said, when we're in a full swing, we have 33 students in here and 4 teachers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and the kids have to know what they're doing. You have to be organized, and they have to know, they have to see the end. You have to give them step-by-step instruction on most things.
So unfortunately I forgot to timer again. So at this point, I don't know how much time we've taken up. For individuals out there that have children, or for students that are out there that are looking for, more of a hands-on opportunity, what do they need to do in order to sign up to be one of the students here?
Yeah, so I mean, every state, to my knowledge, has county vocational technical schools, and you can go on their website and you can apply. Most of them have, I know for us here, we're in Camden County, New Jersey, so they go on the website, they fill out an application. We have tours that you can call up and you can go on tour. If you're not sure the career program that you want, like I had a young man in here last Wednesday. His parents called and they brought him on a tour, and he was torn between culinary arts, bakery, or collision repair. I said to him, hey, it's odd.
Yeah.
That would be your third choice. He says, well, I like working hard, but he did say, he's like, I think that would be more of a hobby kind of thing, where I really enjoy watching cooking shows and doing the thing. I think really that's the key and we also offer summer camps that kids come to in the summer, like 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. I definitely found out that I couldn't be a middle school teacher. I don't have the patience for 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. They are way too messy, and yes,
and so before we let you go, before I round everything up, do you want to let our listeners know where they can pick up some of your?
Yeah, so we, like I said, for right now, I mean, we are definitely sold out for this holiday, but we do things all the time, and I can give you my email address or whatever. People are looking for stuff if they have a party or they have whatever, they can always reach out to me and say, hey, I saw you on the, is it possible? I live close to there. We're looking for this, we're looking for that. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, depending upon what we have going on here. I always tell people, I, I want a lot of real world experience for my students, but their learning and their education comes first in everything. So there's been things where I've had to turn down that I really, really wanted to do. But, and we also, like I said, we have to do a lot of competitions here. I did tell you a little bit about that. And yeah, we have and whistles and alarms, and we should have a fire drill today.
It's a positive.
We normally have fire drills when it's like -32 outside. If for some odd reasons,
Yeah.
So,
All
but thank you very much. It's been a
No,
pleasure.
thank you, and
Thank you for the opportunity to
the wonderful demo.
appreciate it.
So, obviously, if you're tuned in, listening in, or watching at home on YouTube, reach out to Chef Barry at,
So, yeah, B Galasso, GALASSO at ctps.net. And I'd be happy to, if you send me an email, I'd be happy to talk with you or share anything that I have. If you have any questions about, school or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to reach out and talk to you. So thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank you so much.